Hi and welcome. Thank you so much for checking out this video lesson. It's going to be on composition. I get this question a lot. How do I compose my music? Is it with a bass line first, a chord progression, a melody, a drum groove? Is there a story behind it? Well, the answer usually is everything, just depending on the tune. You know, some tunes I just pick up the bass and the tune comes, or I'm just noodling around on the keyboard or trying to sequence a drum groove, or there's a story in my head that I try to get out through the music. But I chose this tune in particular. It's called Walking In, Walking Out, because each section was actually composed in a different way, and there's a story behind it too. So I thought, you know, this is the perfect tune to kind of demonstrate what I do. Well, the story is, it's called Walking In, Walking Out. When I was 19, I broke my back, and 2 years later, the metal plate in the back broke. There was a lot of pain. I had to go to the hospital, get x-rays. The doctor told me it was a really high-risk surgery, but I needed it if I wanted to get rid of the pain. And it just kind of freaked me out, you know. I was really scared. I was really tentative about the surgery. I didn't want to do it. I didn't have faith in it. And John McLaughlin actually found a doctor for us in Germany that was amazing. We went and had a consultation with him. He looked at me, looked at the x-rays. I said, am I going to be fine if I do surgery? And he just looked me square in the eyes and said, look, you're going to walk in here and you're going to walk out of here. So don't worry about it, just trust me. And those words and the way he looked at me just give me complete faith in him. And I actually went into the surgery with a positive attitude. And I remember walking into the hospital, I just said to myself, I'm walking in here and I'm walking out of here. So I wrote this tune, and it's kind of a positive, uplifting song. So that's kind of the story behind it. And the other one is it's in an odd time signature. And the reason is I was spending a lot of time with Mike Stern, just kind of trying to get inside his bebop playing and his approach to kind of improvising. He's a genius, completely amazing improviser. And I just said to him on one of his gigs, do you mind if I just come around to your house and jam along with you and play? And he was, sure, no problem. Come around. But because he saw me play a bunch with Hiromi, he said, is there any chance you can just bring some odd time signatures or just jam some odd time grooves so I can kind of practice that stuff, and then we can just work on the bebop for you and I'll work on that. And I'm like, sure, no problem. So I went home and started composing all these different grooves and time signatures so I could go around to his house and lay them down for him. And actually this is the groove that came out. So this is the birth of that tune. And yeah, let's get straight into it. Okay, so this song actually started with a drum groove. I sequenced in a drum groove in 7, and then I kind of just thought I would improvise a James Brown kind of percussive funky bass line, and just kept going until I found something I really liked. So I'm going to play the drum groove, and then I'm just going to kind of fish around on the bass and kind of hopefully morph nicely into actual what the bass line is. 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. It's in the key of F. So you can see I kind of found what I was looking for, and once I do that, the next step I do is I record it, so on Logic here, so you can hear that. And once I've recorded it, what I do then is search for a melody or for some chords. So we're going to go into the different bass here, and I'm going to start fishing around for some melody ideas. Okay, so I've got my other bass here, 6-string bass. I can play the melody on the 4-string, but you know, the 6-string gives me a little higher range. So when I'm writing melodies, I tend to either use the keyboard or a 6-string bass. Not that you can't do it on a 4-string, it's just my preference. So I've now established that my bass line is in F, F major. So what I did then is I just basically improvised over the written bass line, kind of recorded myself do it. You can do this with a cassette, your mobile phone, whatever that has a recording device on it. And basically what I do is when I hear something that I really like, I'll kind of pull it out and transcribe it and then refine it a little bit. So that's kind of the way I write my melodies, is I just kind of let them come out of me naturally instead of kind of forcing something out of nothing, you know. So I'll play the bass line and I'm just going to fish around in the key of F major, and then eventually I'll play the melody. So there's the melody and the bass line. We start with a drum groove, we went into our bass line, recorded both, looped them, improvised till I found kind of some melody lines I liked, then I refined them, and there's the main A section. So for the B section I decided to change the pace of the tune a little bit from this really busy ostinato percussive bass line and melody to this more open beautiful section where the chords are a little bit more richer. So it was a D major 7 I used and a B flat major 7, and they're both in one bar of 7, so I used the D major 7 for 4.5 beats and then moved to the B flat major 7 for 3.5 beats. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7. So it was these two chords kind of just alternating. I didn't really want to just play a bass line over it, or like a improvised bass line with roots. I really wanted to compose something, so I came up with this idea. I started with a root and a fifth on the D, and then went from the 9 in the chord, so it's okay, so it's, and then that E, the 9 of the D major, seemed to really resolve nice to this D, which is the 3rd of B flat. So I came up with this line and then just moved down the B flat scale until I got back to my root 5th. It just seemed to work really nice. So and then I went to this B flat major 9 kind of sound with the B flat in the bass and the 9 in the high end. And I'm just looking for melodic content over the D to try to develop the idea. So I came up with this root 3rd kind of thing. Then just moved down the scale back to this B flat 9 sound. So the bass line ended up being so you can see, you know, there's different ways already we've done for this music. We've started with a drum groove, then we went on to the bass line, then improvised a melody until we came up with something cool. Then we went into the B section where I purely composed it on the bass, and once I did that, I added some chords to kind of open it up, and then I did the same thing. I just improvised over it until I came up with a melody. So we approached the melody the same way as we did the first. I recorded the bass line, then I added some chords, and I basically just improvised until I could find some nice melodic content. Now over the D major 7, I'm using the D major scale. And for the B flat major 7, I'm using the B flat Lydian. There's a B, there's a D major, and there's the B flat Lydian. So I'm going to play the sequence now, along with the bass line, and just see what we can come up with. Again, if you find some nice ideas when you're improvising this stuff, you know, try to hold on to them, you know, don't just let them go. This melodic content you find is golden. So if you do come up with a good idea, try to develop it, you know, keep your ideas close together. So the melody. So I'm going to repeat the first idea. we started with a 5-1, then like kind of a chromatic from the root D to the 9, which is the B flat major. So 5, 1, 1 to this 9, okay? And then in the second half of the melody, instead of going 5-1, I went 5-1 up the octave, and then did a chromatic thing into the 5th of the B flat. So, you know, I really liked what I did for the first part of the melody. I kind of repeated it and just developed it for the second part. That's important to kind of keep your ideas like that. So let's move on to the final section. So for the final section, I went back to the melody and then the bass line, and I started to really get kind of sick of the bass line. I felt there was more mileage and beauty I could get out of the melody. So what I did was I looped the melody along with the drum groove, and then I sat on the keyboard and I just started to improvise different roots to see what would sound nice. I wasn't using any theoretical knowledge of harmony. I was just basically using my whole ears for this whole song. Let's hear the melody and let's just try to find some nice roots. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I started to find this D work, this D to B flat to G to C. So I needed to find some chords behind it, so I found this D minor 7. And it's literally just fishing around, you know. I tried a D major 7, sounded horrible. Tried a D minor 7, sounded good. Then from here I wanted to use the B flat in the root. So I figured with the B flat over this D minor 7, if I took away the D, it kind of spelled out the D in the root anyway. It spelled out this kind of B flat 9 kind of Lydian sound. So I had this D minor go into this B flat Lydian, and then if I kept that shape and played the G in the root, I got this kind of minor sound. It's like minor, just G minor with like a 11 and a 13 in it. And then from there I kept that shape, and then I played the C, and then it spelled out this beautiful kind of C7 sus chord. So there I had my chords. D minor 7 to B flat major 7 to G minor 7 to C7 sus. So let's hear how these chords sound over the melody now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Works perfectly. So all you have to do really is just find something, trust it, keep it, find a melody for it, move on to the keyboard, try to develop your ideas, and you know, you don't really need a lot of knowledge of harmony. You've just got to kind of trust your ears and your ideas and see it out. You know, it's easy to quit while you're writing a tune, but if you just kind of see it out to the finish, you can surprise yourself sometimes, because you know what you like as a musician and as a listener. So hopefully the idea is you're going to end up with something that you like to listen to. You just got to be patient and try to find the magic in what you're working on. So I'm now going to perform the progression here. I've sequenced it all out for you, and I'm just going to play through the different parts, the melody, the improvisation, the reharm at the end, and I hope you like it, and I hope it gives you some ideas for some of your compositions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.